I am unashamed. What about you?
Welcome back to Unashamed. Jase, what else has been going on in your life?
Well, I told you about me speaking at Celebrate Recovery, and then we picked up Little Man, and which was a fun weekend because, you know, Missy likes to decorate with all the seasons, and now she has a buddy because, I mean, this boy went nuts over decorating for, Missy calls it the fall. She doesn't like to use Halloween for obvious
The fall
reasons.
season.
The fall season. So here's what I found fascinating. I'll tell you a story. She went and bought, just think how the yuppie woman mind works here. She bought 2 trees, 2 little artificial trees, because they have the look of fall. Because our trees, they have green leaves. And so I should have just kept my mouth shut, but I'm like, why would you buy 2 trees that are not real when we're surrounded by trees?
Yep.
But when
It's a bad question, Jase. You're going down a bad road.
But she told Little Man about this, and when I popped open that box, that boy went nuts because he wanted to build the trees. I mean, and he was thinking about Christmas and all that.
Yeah.
So Missy has all these decorations and pumpkins, and they're having the biggest time ever. Well, here was the problem. You know, when you store decorations and it's like fake-looking leaves and all, there's a certain amount of critters that come in there. Mm-hmm. And, well, there he is. Si, come on in here. I'm mid-story. Yeah, come on in here. I heard some breaking news I want to see. Si, you got new teeth. Put your headset on. All right, look here. So for our audience, if you're listening, they're getting his mic. Let me just give the play-by-play here. Si, come in, and he has a black eye, and he has brand new teeth. And whoever did that, they need a raise. You look like
I'm a Dr. O.
Dr. O?
Yep.
Okay. So what led to this? We got breaking news. Si has new teeth, and a whole set of them. Are these the kind you take out, or are they like in there?
No, these are permanent.
Oh, okay. Wow.
He pulled, I think it was 13, is what I had left in my head.
He pulled all of them?
Yeah.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
then put 24 back in.
Good night.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite the...
How much did that set you back?
I ain't going to discuss that.
We don't talk about such things on podcasts.
And here I was thinking you were going to have to wait till the resurrection.
No, I didn't realize they got a photo when I told
Martin,
Hunter
let me
show
take
it.
those keys from you because
Yeah.
you're going to be rattling that the whole time.
But anyway, it's a side-by-side of what I used to have and then the new ones.
Oh, I see.
You're talking about the ugly duckling.
The guy who did the surgery, or?
No, me.
Oh, the former you.
Yeah, when I seen the side-by-side, boy, you talking about rough.
Now tell the truth. When you walked in to your lovely wife, that you've labeled the redhead, when you walked in there and you smiled, what happened?
Well, she was happy. Okay, because look, I told the world that's what got her to marry me.
Oh, was your
It
smile?
was my pretty smile.
Boy, you're back.
Well, I've got it back.
So y'all been honeymooning.
Oh, yeah. No, the first thing, she had a bigger smile on her face than I did.
Oh, wow.
No.
Did you play some music to get in the mood? I mean, I wish I would. Somebody should have filmed that transaction.
No. Philip's got a picture.
Oh,
we showed it.
Oh, I see it. I got it right here on my phone now.
Oh, my,
Peter.
Si.
Good night.
I'm looking at the picture. Wow.
No, here's the thing. I didn't know teeth went through that.
And I was looking at this picture, Jase, and it reminded me of looking at the tooth decay of our good old Uncle Si and our favorite uncle. It reminded me of the spiritual decay that we see in America, and it reminded me that our good friend Tony Perkins is at the Family Research Council, and they are on the front lines trying to help us in the spiritual decay of America to stop the slide. And they're right there in the belly of the beast in Washington, D.C., They do great work. We want you guys to support them. Give today at frc.org/unashamed, because we've been talking today about decay.
You talking about a rough life, son. 77 years on a set of teeth is rough.
Yeah, exactly.
Because look, and then I actually got to asking questions about, we was driving up there, and I told Philip, I said, hey, how many teeth does a normal human being have, an adult?
As
said,
if you're a normal human being.
Yeah, he said, I don't know. So he said,
More
Syria.
than 13, I can
Yeah,
tell
he
you
said,
that.
Syria, you have 32.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, well, I had lost 20 of them.
Syria.
Yeah. So, hey, it was a hoot. But,
Well, you should have looked outside. The tooth fairy had probably built a tent right outside your house.
Yeah.
well, no, I actually got the teeth at the house.
Oh, wow.
I saved them.
Well, you need to bury them.
But,
so.
that's what Philip said. He said, bury with a dog out there.
Yeah.
Then when they find it, they really have something.
Did you have any gold in it?
No, people. We discussed that on the podcast. He said, "Well, do something out of the ordinary. Put a star or a football or something in one of your teeth." And I said, "I ain't doing that."
Now, I've seen these football players now. They got like diamonds in them and all that.
yeah.
You know, they flossing their teeth and a diamond pops out.
But hey, here's the thing that got me about this. From the time that Dr. Woody, the anesthesiologist, put the IV in and then till they woke me up,
Yeah.
it was just 2 hours.
They did the whole thing in 2 hours.
Yeah, he pulled 13 teeth and then put in, I think, 16 posts permanently. And then they come in after I got up, woke up, said, okay, here's the top. And the girls screwed them in. Mm-hmm. And then Doc tried to screw the other bottom ones in. And he said, here, you girls finish this. I'm the one that does a surgery. I don't do this often. Because he was having all kind of problems. It was cool. What they did, they screwed the fuel in.
And you were asleep while this was going on.
Well, no, when they put the teeth in, I was awake.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They just, they put in got 4, and then they had 2 that would lock them down. Mm. So it was a pretty amazing procedure.
Oh,
So is it done? You're done with the whole thing now? You got to go back and get anything up?
These are the healing teeth.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to go back like in 2 months, and then they're going to put in the permanent ones.
See, my first reaction when I saw you is I thought you must have balked on them putting you to sleep, and so they had to knock you out, and that's why you got the black eye.
No,
Yeah, where did the black eye come from?
no, the doc just said that. We had him on a podcast while ago on the phone, and he said, I can't believe I gave you a black eye. But you just think about it. I had a bunch of teeth pulled. Well, my face swelled up a little bit, and plus, well, this is nothing. You should have seen it last night.
Oh, wow.
It was that big around. When I told him on the podcast, I said, no, here's what happened with the back eye. Me and Mike Tyson went 6 rounds, but I won. I knocked him out in the 6th round.
Then you woke up and realized it was all a dream.
Then it was only a dream.
But I got new teeth.
But hey, I couldn't believe the difference between the photos. You talking about a bunch of garbage.
So last year, I made a bold prediction. I was going to lose 60 pounds by my 60th birthday. Epic fail. Did a terrible job. But then I found PhD weight loss, right? And it's changed my life. I've lost over 70 pounds now. If you're watching on YouTube, here's a picture of me before, and here's a picture of me now. And as you can see, I've lost like a whole person. I feel much better. Lisa and I were just in Oregon. I did a 4.5 mile hike up 850 feet. I could never have done that last year. The good folks at PhD tell you what to eat, when to eat, how to eat, and have the right relationship with food, which really does change a lot of your perspective. It's all about resetting your metabolism and burning fat. That's what they're into. And they're really great. It's not starvation. It's not all the big workout stuff, no shots, no gimmicks. Right now, for November only, PhD Weight Loss is making it even easier to get started. They'll waive your consultation fee, add 2 weeks to your program for free, and even cover the cost of your food. Just for booking, you'll also get 5 steps to reset the scale, Dr. Ashley's book, for free. Mention code 2026START when you call PhD Weight Loss at 864-644-1900 or visit myphdweightloss.com. I'm looking at it, Si.
Yeah.
And what's amazing is I can hear it too. 'Cause your tongue is hitting now your teeth in a different way, and so it's changed a little bit of your inflection in your talking. You probably can't hear it, but I can hear it.
Well, that's the first thing Martin M said. He said, "You sound different." And I said, good. And yes, I said, I wonder how it's going to affect my singing voice.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I'll find out next time.
So you're technically speaking in tongues right now.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're speaking a whole new language.
Oh, yeah. No. This is what's fun about this. I'm having a hoot, learning to eat again. Because I used to know exactly where to put the food to eat it. Well, now I can crush it anywhere it goes. I can crush it.
Oh, wow.
So it's a new world. No, the picture says it all. And what is the thing that says that? Tell me, a picture is worth 1,000 words.
Yeah,
it is.
With that, when you see it side by side, what I did have and now what I've got.
And now the people at the church assembly have no idea what's fixing to happen next Sunday.
Si's fixing to be blasting.
Look, they're liable to give you a microphone and let you lead singing.
Well, just get on the team. Get on the worship team, Si. Yeah. But Si, think about it. Those teeth, it's not just the losing of them, but me looking at them here in this picture, you had about probably 30 years worth of nicotine stains whatnots that are, those teeth they needed to go.
Well, no, because when Doc told me about this when we met and everything, I was just, but now that I seen how ugly I really was with what I had, you idiot, hey, you're improved you improved 100%.
Oh, wow.
Of how this looks.
Yeah.
Well, Si needs to be on one of those commercials because you see those pictures. There's one of them. There's a lady on there, and she had like your Si. They're pretty ganked up, and man, she got that new smile, and it was like new money. That needs to be the new Si.
I could not believe the difference. Of what I look like.
Yeah. Well, but look, I'm gonna give you one rule because duck season's fixing to happen. When the ducks are circling,
I still can't.
Don't smile.
No, just don't smile.
Right.
Because
flare.
You're gonna flare every duck around.
My flare. Yeah. Remember, keep your mouth shut. Don't shine.
He's gonna wait to put his diamonds in until he gets those permanent ones in.
Now I can actually accomplish what the Bible tells us to do. Let your little light shine.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Now you can smile and people won't run, I guess.
I was surprised that I didn't have any problems.
Yeah, this is just like 2 days ago. When did you do this?
Friday.
What?
Yeah.
You did this 2 days ago?
No. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. That's incredible.
Yeah, and I only had, and you'll love this, Dr. O.
So we got Woody and O. They need to just hire you to be like their spokesman.
Well,
you could be the guy.
have.
Oh, they already have.
Hey, with this, because this is going to go worldwide. But anyway.
You've come into
now we're talking, Si.
You've come into some poker money when we play.
Jase, that's why he didn't want to talk about money, because somebody going to get paid.
We fixed to line up a poker game for this weekend.
No, it's next week. But,
I love it.
This is pretty good. Doc done the surgery, and then I stayed at the doctor's house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And he nursed me. He nursed me all night long.
Oh, man.
He was always coming in, and I got my CPAP on. And every once in a while, when I got too much oxygen, I just put it on my forehead, and I could still breathe it.
Yeah.
So I'm out of sleep, and I feel my mask sliding over my face. He woke me up. And he said, "You okay?" And I said, "Yeah." Well, he comes in like 2 hours later. And then I had come off of the anesthesiology.
Anesthesiology.
Hey, I had a tinge of pain. And when Philip talked to him, I had told him, I said, "You know me and my tolerance of pain. I don't have any tolerance." And he said, he said, "Are you doing all right?" I said, "No, I'm having a little pain." He said, "Hold that thought and I'll be back." So he went and got a pain tablet,
Yeah.
I took it with water, and he said, "It'll take it about 30 minutes to kick in." Well, that's the only pain I've had for this whole thing, was about 10 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, who gets the doctor as the all-night nursemaid? So you fell into a pretty...
And sleeping in the doctor's house.
Yeah, you just moved in.
And he said, I don't know if I want to let this out or not. And I said, well, Doc, all will happen is you'll take somebody else to your house and nurse him. He said, that's just the type of person you are. But they really are. They're great people, him and his whole team. But what it gets me is why I ever doubted and balked about doing it. When I seen the pictures, oh, no, you idiot. You should have got rid of them 50 years ago.
Yeah. Well, you're a new man.
Yeah.
Well, we're
well,
glad.
he told me when he gave his pitch, he said, I want to give you your beautiful smile back.
Yeah.
Well, he did what he said he was going to do.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's,
Well, look right in the camera and give us a beautiful smile.
Look at there. That's pretty good. And so if any of you out there in Unashamed Nation want to find out about your anesthesiology, just talk to Syria, and you'll be able to do that, according to Si.
Well, thanks for stopping by, Si, and giving us I heard the rumors. I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
But.
No. Bella come in and she said, it was good grief.
Yeah, if you're listening, Si's giving a craze.
I know why you do it. I've looked at the pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is one of them. Whoa.
Well, congratulations, Si. We rejoice in your new teeth. It's going to be awesome.
Hey, it's good to have it back, but I am having a lot of fun relearning. I felt like a baby because I'm learning how to eat again. Used to, I had to chase it. You don't want to put it in my mouth, I had to chase a chunk of meat. You know?
Yeah.
Now, hey, if I'd put it in my mouth, crush it.
Yeah. All right, well, congratulations. Take your mic off. Take your mic off.
Whoa, hey, look at.
So we're at the age where, hey, we're getting checkups, doctor visits, lab work, blood work. I try to be consistent about that now because I've got kids, and I got a young kid now that I want to stay healthy for. And I just found out, by the way, that we all have two ages. We have the number that's on our license, and we have our body's biological age. And get this, I've already lowered my biological age without even realizing it because of this product right here, Field of Greens by Brick House. Here's the problem. Most Americans eat a ton of processed foods and not nearly enough fruits and veggies. And that means that a lot of us are actually 10, sometimes even 15 years older on the inside than our real age. It's like a ticking time bomb. But a major university study recently found the way to slow that down. And all it took was this right here, Field of Greens. No diet changes, no new workouts, just Field of Greens. Every fruit and vegetable in Field of Greens is doctor selected for a specific health benefit. Some for your cells, heart, lungs, kidneys, metabolism, and even a healthy weight. And that gives me a peace of mind knowing that I can slow down how fast I'm aging so that I can be there for my kids. I feel a steadier energy throughout the day. No more afternoon crashes. I sleep better. Gut health's improved. I drink mine every morning, and I want to encourage you to do the same. I want to encourage you to join us. Skip the untested green drinks and go with Field of Greens. Check out the university study and get 20% off when you use promo code unashamed at fieldofgreens.com. That's fieldofgreens.com, promo code unashamed.
Jase, you were mid-story when Si came in. So I don't know if you can remember where you were, but
I came in and he was doing a podcast, and then they said, "Oh, he's got a whole new set of teeth." I was like, "What? How come I'm the last person to hear this?" And I really wasn't sure that was true. I thought maybe they were, Halloween is right around the corner, and notice, and I said that on purpose, Halloween. But did you get it?
Yeah, I got it.
Y'all didn't laugh, so I didn't know.
But
and I was telling the story about Missy getting ready, which now is not going to seem as funny of a story as I thought it was after hearing
after the human jack-o'-lantern showed up.
That dude is funny. Some people are just special gift from God. If his mouth is moving, he's funny.
Yeah.
But I was telling you about Missy getting ready, which does, it seems like Si with new teeth. And because I kept thinking, I wanted to say this, but I didn't know where he would go with it. I was like, you should have just, at this stage of your life, why not get like Dracula teeth or something, have some kind of, like a Swiss Army knife. I mean, who cares? You're 80 years old.
Have you seen those one that do the leopard where they got the long eye teeth? I mean, there's people that do some pretty amazing things.
Just
now.
have one that you can reach up and push and just you get it a little extra or something. But
you got to take care of hey, we all got to take care of our teeth though, because I remember, I think it runs in our family, tooth decay. When Granny was still alive and she was staying a couple months with us, we were sitting at the dinner table and we were like eating dinner, and Granny reaches up to her canine tooth and then she grabs it and starts, pulling on it, and she pulls the entire tooth out and throws it on her dinner plate.
And there's nothing that goes with dinner better than that. Is that just a bloody canine hole?
And she kept eating. I was like, whoa, did you just pull out your canine tooth, which is about 6 inches long? And then she threw it on the plate, and it was like, ding, and it spun around, and then she just kept on eating.
Every time I hear these stories, Al, how did we survive? How did we make it?
I literally walked in one day and Granny was there, and my grandpa had his mouth open, and she had a pair of pliers, and she had a dish rag in his mouth, and she was working on one of his back big molars, and I heard this loud pop, and she pulled one of his teeth.
How if you keep these stories up, people are going to be swerving on the highways of America trying to listen to this.
That was our grandparents. That's the way they approached dentistry. So maybe that does explain a lot of size issues.
That's why when someone says "Don't forget where you came from," I'm like, I don't know. I'm trying to forget sometimes. That was a bloody past.
So speaking of said decorations in my story and swerving off the side of the road, so during this decoration process with Little Man and Missy, they go and take some elderly food that we had that she cooked for us, and my wife does that, and she's real big on training the next generation of these acts of service. James 1, religion that is real is taking care of widows and orphans, and helping people in their time of need. But and so I'm real proud of my wife that she does that. She did that with all our kids, just random acts of kindness. She takes the little ones and she wants them to see this happen. And she had left some decorations somewhere. She picks up the box or whatever. Long story. But what happened was, out of one of these boxes comes a spider. And look, think the Halloween theme. And now she's driving in her vehicle with Little Man in his little seat. And this spider makes an appearance while Missy is driving.
Oh, boy.
She swerves over on the side of the road, puts it in park, and goes crazy. And, trying to find, because the spider had, spun a web right in front of her face or whatever, and it's she is terrified, which I think is the number one reason, if you ask me, why she married me, because I'm a person of the wilderness, and I think she felt like, I think this guy can protect me from all the critters, because she has a certain tone to her voice that never comes out unless she sees some kind of critter. And she's a bit
phobic, isn't she, about these?
Yeah,
small
I cannot
critters,
describe to you. She just does not like any kind of critters anywhere near her space. That's why she has me, and we have every pest control in the Twin Cities working for us. She does not want to see any kind of critter inside her house or her car. So she's going nuts. Well, Little Man's never seen this side of Lulu. And so in his distraught, here's what I find funny. I mean, she's screaming, trying to find some kind of weapon to get rid of the spider. And you know what he starts shouting at her at the top of his lungs? Call Spider-Man. Call Spider-Man. And I thought, what a smart kid, which was only contributing to Missy's chaos, because he just, call Spider-Man.
Just his thought was, go to the king of the spiders. That's what you do.
What a smart kid. From his perspective, we have a problem. No problem. Use your
Spider-Man.
phone and call Spider-Man. He'll be right on his way. So I thought it was a hilarious story. Missy didn't want to laugh about it. She's still not at the let's laugh about it now. But she did remove the spider, which I'm very proud of her.
Really?
Oh, yeah, she did. She
And it was probably just a harmless wood spider or something. It probably wasn't even a...
Exactly. Because I said, what
Yeah.
kind was it? And she's like, I don't care.
There's
It
only
was-
a couple you need
It's
to
a
worry
spider.
about.
And so
Yeah.
then I used this opportunity to get back on the why in the world are you buying 2 fake trees and you're doing all that? This is what happens. See,
Yeah.
but that didn't go over well.
Well, it's just funny, Jay. So I say I need a little man in my life because when we got back down here to the Southern Lair this week, we had company coming because I have some octogenarians staying with me this week, and so they were going to come. So Lisa has to decorate. That's just, I guess that's what you do. Because we're not down here that much. So I'm like, babe, why are we doing all this work? Well, so then she pulls me into what you're talking about. But all her stuff is here, but it's in boxes. It's all stored places. And so, I had to spend 2 hours dragging through stuff, moving stuff to try to find all the decorations. And I just don't care anything about it, but I'm just trying to be, a good husband. And I need a little man. I need somebody that's excited about it that could take over for me. So I don't know. I'm going to have to find me a little
This
man.
dude takes the cake. I've never seen a man so excited about the seasons at this small of an age. Every day we have a conversation.
Well, I need to find out the next time y'all have him, and I need to get him up to my house when Lisa goes into that mode, because it's fixing to happen for Christmas, and then let him just take over for me. That would be awesome. All right, so we ready to get back to John? What a morning.
John 18. We still John 8. Yeah, the teeth kind of
18.
threw us off.
We
there.
have these distractions. I don't know how to segue to John 18.
That's a
after all
hard
that.
segue, but we got to get there because we're doing so good in this text. The last podcast I thought was really rich. And Jase, you kind of set up Zach to talk because they've been preaching through Exodus. And so he's been doing the research into it. And Zach, you closed us beautifully last time with all those pictures of the tabernacle and Jesus, because that's exactly what we're in the midst of the story. And I mentioned to Zach in between our recordings today, Jase, that when the reason we're doing it this way, it's not like we planned it, but it's happening. I think the reason the Holy Spirit is teaching through this text the way He's doing through us is because I feel like it's such a brutal, reckoning of what happened to Jesus and what He did for us. And that you have to keep having a fly up high look at what this all means and why it had to happen. And it was pointed to this place. And so I think if you don't do that, you kind of just caught up in the brutality of the crucifixion. And sometimes you lose real sight of what He did and why He did it. So I think that's the reason why we keep going back to the Old Testament and showing that this was all being prepared to happen for all of human history to get to this crucial point about what's happening in this 3-day period of time. And as we mentioned last time, the Passover is all over this thing because that's when He chose to do it. And it really was a sort of abbreviated, and it's hard to say this, but I believe it to be true, but even also a merciful way, if you can call it that, for what happens to Jesus, for what He gives for us, because it was just put into this basically a 48-hour period when normally these things drug on for a week or 9 days. I was stunned when I did a deeper dive into how long they would carry out these executions and keep these people alive just to humiliate them, but also then you're trying to give a message like if you mess with the Roman Empire, this is what's going to happen to you. So it really is an interesting take on the way we're doing this text, but it really, to me, keeps showing us how crucial the whole thing is.
Well, every business is asking the same question. How do we make AI work for us? That's where everybody's at right now. The possibilities are absolutely endless, but guessing is too risky. But sitting on the sidelines isn't an option because one thing is almost certain. Your competitors are already making the move. So with NetSuite by Oracle, you can put AI to work today. NetSuite is the #1 AI cloud ERP trusted by over 43,000 businesses.
Full disclosure, I own Oracle shares and have for many years.
So NetSuite, it's a unified suite that brings financials, inventory, commerce, HR, and CRM all into one source of truth and information. So having all that connected data makes your AI smarter so it can intelligently automate routine tasks, deliver actionable insights, and help you cut costs along the way. This isn't just another bolt-on tool. Its AI is built into the system that actually runs your business. So whether your company is earning millions or even hundreds of millions, NetSuite helps you stay ahead of the pack.
Yeah, Zach, that would have been a great thing to have in the early days of Duck Commander because we didn't know what we were doing. We could have used some NetSuite back in the day.
Well, I mean, think about how much easier it is to make decisions when you have all the information you need. And now, well, NetSuite allows you to do just that with a smooth process for people who use it. So right now, get our free business guide, Demystifying AI, at netsuite.com/unashamed. The guide is free to you at netsuite.com/unashamed. netsuite.com/unashamed.
And I think just the way the history of it all works. I mean, because you're like, well, how does this happen? But you got to remember, Pilate, I mean, this is not like they're at the mothership of Rome. This is a place
This is an outlier.
where Rome is colonizing other countries.
Right.
And so it's kind of like you have this relationship, Pilate and the Jews, and that's why it's so interesting in John 18, where it's like they didn't want to come in there because of the what is the word it uses? The purification rites or whatever.
Because they would be, then they would have been unclean for the Passover if they would have gone into a Gentile's home. Sure. And so then they would have I think it's a week maybe, Zach, of purification process before they could go back into the temple. This is going to wreck their whole holiday.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting you mentioned the colonization piece of this, Jase, that's why when you read that, like prophecies from Daniel about that statue, if you look at the Roman Empire, the Roman Empire was the Iron Empire because the iron was like I guess a picture of like military strength because a lot of weapons were made out of iron. But the statue, the part of the statue that the stone, which is Jesus came and crushed, which was the Roman Empire, it says it was iron and clay.
Yeah.
And the reason why it was clay was because of exactly what you're talking about. This was not the center of the Roman Empire. This was an expansion, colonized territory. So it was a mixture of different cultures, all under Roman occupation. So they were in control over Israel and Jewish culture, but it was a mixture. It was very it wasn't like homogenous. So you're seeing like you're on the outer skirts of the centralized power of the Roman Empire. It's a little bit murky, a little bit of clay, a little bit of iron, a little bit of Rome, a little bit of Jerusalem, kind of mixed together.
Because you're right, Zach. If you could have taken snapshots of different places around the world, like the British Isle, the Romans were there. Mm-hmm. The Asia Minor, which is where Paul goes later, the Romans were there. And you had your own stories of what was going on in all of these contexts. And that's that sort of clay part you're talking about. Because look, any empire on earth, it's hard to hold an empire together because the broader you go and the more people you occupy, the more you open yourself up to some battlefront where people just get sick of it and decide to fight back. So that's what you're seeing.
Well, what I was going to say is the reason this is important, even like John 18:28, when the Jews led Jesus from Caiaphas to the palace of the Roman governor, it's like, people read the Bible and are always trying to apply it to us today, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, these are real people, real countries, which gives validity to the Bible itself.
Yeah.
But when you get to like the book of Revelation and people in the religious world lose their minds as far as what it's talking about, and I say that kind of jokingly, but not really. But this whole story that we're reading makes a lot more sense when you get to Revelation and about the powers that set up themselves as powerful in earthly kingdoms and how Jesus basically defeated everything that was thrown at him. That's why I brought up the accusation aspect of this, the temptation aspect, the earthly powers, the betrayal, Everything was thrown at Jesus in these few days, even death itself. And he comes out the other side defeating all of them. And so just to hear me out on this, if I read, you can read the symbolic language in Revelation 17, and most scholars who are being fair to the scriptures will all say this is a depiction of the Roman Empire, about on the hills, the city with the 7 hills, and you look at Rome geographically, and then it starts talking about these emperors that are passed down.
Well, you said I think you meant in Revelation.
Yeah, in Revelation.
Yeah, I think you said Romans 17. You meant Revelation 17.
Yeah, Revelation 17. So I wanted to read Revelation 1 and kind of tie in what happened at the Passover and Jesus now fulfilling the Passover, bringing this new Exodus, with in mind all the powers that Jesus is defeating simultaneously here. And I just want to read in Revelation 1:4 where it says, "Grace and peace to you from him who is and was and who is to come." Well, we know who that is. "And from the sevenfold Spirit before the throne, and from Jesus Christ, who is the faithful witness, the firstborn from the dead, and the ruler of the kings of the earth." Like, well, how do you become ruler of the kings of the earth? Well, we're reading how that process happened in John 18. This is the beginning of it. He's taken on all enemies, all powers. "To him who loves us," and look at this phrase, "and has freed us." Well, that's what the Exodus was all about. Freedom, liberation. He has freed us from our sins by his blood. Well, now we're back to the Passover, going to that same picture, "and has made us to be a kingdom." Well, that's the discussion he's having with Pilate, "and priests to serve his God and Father. To him be glory and power forever and ever. Amen." And then look what happens in verse 7. He quotes Daniel 7:13 and 14. We're in Revelation 1. "Look, he who is coming with the clouds, and every eye will see him, even those who pierced him, and all the peoples of the earth will mourn because of him. So shall it be. I am the beginning and the end, the Alpha, the Omega, says the Lord, who is and was and who is to come, the Almighty." And then he goes on in verse 17 and says, "Do not be afraid. I am the first and the last. I am the living one. I was dead. Behold, I am alive forever and ever. I hold the keys of death and Hades." And so then he, writes messages to the 7 churches in that region with all this kind of spectacular language that he accomplished where we're at. I just think when you start putting all these things together, it gives you the proper view of how to study a book like Revelation.
Yeah, that's good. And why?
Very interesting.
And why it's there, right? Because it ties it together. I want to do this little interlude point because we left off in the text in 1838. Because I told you there's like this kind of a part 1 and part 2 before Pilate. And we read part 1 because he basically says in verse 38, "I find no basis for a charge against him." And before we go to 39, because he's going to try a little political trick here, he tries another political trick that John doesn't mention, but Luke does. And I want to read that because, it shows you the planning of this again in an interesting way. So in Luke 23, we're right at this point where we're studying in John, and Luke records it this way. "The whole assembly rose and led him off to Pilate, and they began to accuse him, saying, 'We have found this man subverting our nation.'" And then listen to what they say. One's just a bald-faced lie. "He opposes payment of taxes to Caesar." Well, that's a lie, because we already know there's a story where Jesus tells, give to Caesar what is Caesar's, right? Well, that's just a lie. And then they say, "And he claims to be Christ, a king," which that's true. But what they're trying to do is say, look, he's trying to say he's the king of the Romans. Because then Pilate asked Jesus, so this is what we studied in John, are you the king of the Jews? Yes, it is as you say. Jesus replied, which we studied that. Then Pilate announced to the chief priests and the crowd, I find no basis for a charge against this man. So he's saying, I don't, he's your king, not mine. And here's where he tries the little political punt right here in verse 5. But they insisted. He stirs up the people all over Judea by his teaching. He started in Galilee. Now, you just got to imagine, Jay, he's talking about real people. So Pilate's listening, and when he hears that, his ears perk up. As he says, he started in Galilee and has come all the way here. On hearing this, Pilate asked if the man was a Galilean. So now he's seeing a potential way out of his quandary here. He's from Galilee. When he heard that Jesus was under Herod's jurisdiction, he sent him to Herod, catch this phrase, who was also in Jerusalem at that time. You think about that. Herod normally would not be in Jerusalem. He would be in Galilee. He was the tetrarch. There were 4 different sons of Herod the Great that were running Israel, but they weren't really running it because the Romans were. But he was in Jerusalem at the time. Imagine the odds of that. Right when the king is coming to Jerusalem. So verse 8 says, when Herod saw Jesus, he was greatly pleased because for a long time he was wanting to see him. For what he had heard about him, he hoped to see him perform some miracle. So he plied him with many questions, but Jesus gave him no answer. The chief priests, teachers of the law were standing there vehemently accusing him. Then Herod and his soldiers ridiculed and mocked him, dressing him in an elegant robe. They sent him back to Pilate. And that day, Herod and Pilate became friends because before this, they had been enemies. And so this whole moment sort of unifies the enemies of God together, which, by the way, they're both going to be crushed when we get to Acts. We don't read about Pilate's, but you can read his in history, what happened to him. But they didn't hold up. But I thought it was important to show the interlude of what happens. Pilate is still trying to figure a way out of having to condemn a man who he knows has not done nothing wrong. And so he tries to pawn him off to Herod, but Herod obviously doesn't, he's not even a real leader. And you can see that because he's just hoping to see a cheap miracle. And then he basically just mocks Jesus and sends him back. So that's the interlude.
Our friends at Tomorrow Clubs, these guys are reaching kids in really hard places. One of those places is called Binga. In Binga, it's a remote and underdeveloped area of the northwestern part of Zimbabwe. And I want to tell you about 13-year-old Mbappe who lost his mom, dropped out of school, and he turned to drugs. He only cared about soccer. That was the only avenue that they had to get to him. So when a local Tomorrow Club started games in his village, he showed up to play soccer. And before each game, the leaders would share about Jesus, and Mbappe found his faith in Christ there. And today, he's an ambassador of the gospel in his village. Tomorrow Club's already served 5,000 kids across 40 villages in Binga, and more local churches are ready to open clubs. Our goal is to double the outreach in Binga by the end of the year. We want to reach 40 more communities and 5,000 more kids. And the reason why is because we truly believe that our mission aligns with the mission of Tomorrow Clubs. Long-term discipleship relationships, partnering with local churches, and raising up the next generation in faith. Look, it costs about $2,000 to start and sustain a club for an entire year. So whether you want to sponsor a new club altogether or donate $100 to train a local leader, you are shaping the church of tomorrow. Plus, for a limited time, all donations to this Binga Blitz are going to be matched. So join us today. Double your impact by visiting tomorrowclubs.org/unashamed. That's tomorrowclubs.org/unashamed.
Well, I find it interesting. You think about how many movies have been made about Julius Caesar, which is a real person in history, how this Roman emperor reign, continued all the way up to, I'm looking it up, till 476. So they were basically just, because he was assassinated. He was like stabbed, 23 times or whatever. Mm-hmm. But it was a symbolic sign of their power, which just in the big picture of things, that was really no power at all. It ended. I mean, Jesus is King of Kings today. I mean, when you go back to this moment and think how the world views this, it's considered cool to, watch the story of Julius Caesar, and they're like, Jesus, he's make-believe or whatever. But you have this book that you're like, what if this really did happen?
Yeah.
It kind of...
Well, and then Jase, historically at 300 AD, after the church is now up and running now for, 300 years, the Constantine, the emperor of Rome, becomes a Christian and then baptizes his entire army.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's a mass baptism.
Somebody sent me a clip this week about Joe Rogan going to church now. And the quote was so funny because he was talking and he was like, yeah, I've been going to church. He's like, these people, they're like reading these passages and like trying to figure it out, and there's some historical things in there. But his take on it was like, they do this every week. They're reading this book, and there's this guy who's like, I mean, he's a good guy, no doubt about that. I'm paraphrasing what the gist of it was. It's like, he just makes you a better person. And it's like woven in history, but they're looking at these passages every week and trying to figure this stuff out. It's quite interesting. Yeah. Boy, if he listened to our podcast, his head would explode,
Exactly. Come on in, Joe. The water is fine.
I think people lose the fact that these are real people at real times. You have this book that seems to be intertwined over hundreds of years with all these different writers, and you're like, wait, what? This kind of goes in with them. You read the Exodus story, and to what Zach did, to his point, just seeing how Jesus fulfills all that, it is truly fascinating, and it does make your life better. I mean, because all of a sudden you're like, oh, there's a God, and he came and visited the planet. It's all making sense now.
Yeah, and his nature is seen through it, because even Jesus says, "I am the light of the world," and we made the correlation in the last podcast when he says that in John, the Gospel of John, that he's the lampstand. But also when you mentioned that verse out of Revelation 1 where he said, I think the phrase was the sevenfold Spirit. You got to remember the Spirit's involved in this as well.
It's from Isaiah 11. It's a quote from Isaiah 11. I'll look it up while you're talking.
Yeah, there's like 7 different illuminations of the character of God in that passage. And but think about this though, even like, so the Spirit's present here in this whole thing in John 18 and 19, because he had just told his disciples about the coming of the Spirit. He had just said, like, here's the reason why I have to leave, because if I don't leave, the Spirit won't come. So the coming of the Spirit and Pentecost, Acts 2, is a big part of what is happening here. It's paving the way for Pentecost, which is the cooperation of the church and Christ in the building of the new tabernacle, the new temple. And so when you think about the purpose of a lampstand, whenever you would walk into the holy place, it was the lampstand that had 7 branches. Well, what was the point of the lampstand? Well, that was what illuminated the room. It's what lit the room up so that you could actually see what was going on in the holy place, and then obviously through into the most holy place, the Holy of Holies, where the presence of God was manifested. So you go back and read that text on the Spirit, John 14 through John 17. It's very clear that the main purpose of the Holy Spirit, the person of the Holy Spirit, the main purpose is to illuminate us to be able to see. It's the person of the triune God who is responsible for revealing to us. He opens it up. He opens our eyes and we see. Oh, wait. He turns the lights on. The lamp turns the light on. So the sevenfold Spirit is the illumination of the character of God as seen in Jesus. It's how we can see Jesus. And so everybody's participating in terms of the triune nature of God. The Father's participating in this and planning it. The Son is participating in it in Jesus by accomplishing this. And then the Spirit is participating in applying what's happening here to us. I just think that's so profound.
Look, I have to read this because you brought up that sevenfold Spirit. Because you got to remember, John 14 all the way through 16, he's promising to give people the Holy Spirit. As in, so personal, it's in you forever.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yep.
John 14. Where's that at? 8, 10, somewhere in there, 12.
Yeah.
But and then you get to Revelation, and he mentions that sevenfold Spirit. But just listen to Isaiah 11. I mean, I didn't plan on doing this, but as I started reading, I was like, well, this is incredible. In verse 1, it says, a shoot will come up from the stump of Jesse, from his roots a branch will bear fruit. Well, what is that referring to? You know, there's going to be a king come in the line of David. That's why Jesus in John 15, I am the tree, you are the branches.
Yep.
Go and bear fruit, fruit that will last. What's the fruit of the Spirit? But then verse 2, it says, the Spirit of the Lord will rest on him. Talking about Jesus. Remember when he's baptized?
Yep.
You got the Spirit. And then here's the sevenfold Spirit. The Spirit of wisdom, of understanding, the Spirit of counsel and power, the Spirit of knowledge, and the Spirit of the fear of the Lord. He will delight in the fear of the Lord. He will not judge by what he sees with his eyes. Think earthly versus spiritual. Or decide by what he hears with his ears. But with righteousness he will judge the needy. With justice he will give decisions to the poor of the earth. He will strike the earth with the rod of his mouth. With the breath of his lips he will slay the wicked. Righteousness will be his belt, and faithfulness the sash around his waist. And then he talks about the unity that he'll provide. The wolf will live with the lamb. The leopard will lie down with the goat. The calf and the lion and the yearling together, and a little child will lead them. Then it goes on to say, verse 9, they will neither harm nor destroy on all my holy mountain, for the earth will be full of the knowledge of the Lord as the waters cover the sea. Well, now we're going back to this Exodus picture. Then it says, in that day, verse 10, the root of Jesse will stand as a banner for the people. The nations will rally to him. Think when he said, all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me, therefore go make disciples of all nations. And his place of rest will be glorious. In that day, the Lord will reach out a second time to reclaim the remnant that is left of his people. Verse 12, he will raise a banner for the nations. Verse 15 and 16, listen how this goes back to the Exodus story. The Lord will dry up the gulf of the Egyptian sea. With a scorching wind, he will sweep his hand over the Euphrates River. He will break it up into 7 streams so that men can cross over in sandals. There will be a highway for the remnant of his people. So, I mean, you see the whole thing there, and this is Isaiah 11.
I was thinking of Zechariah 6, 12 and 13, Jase. Here is the man whose name is the branch, and he will branch out from his place and build the temple of the Lord. It is he who will build that temple of the Lord, and he will be clothed with majesty and will sit and will rule on his throne, and he will be a priest on his throne, and there will be harmony between the two. Just that's another one of those snapshots.
Oh, this is so key too, because when you read that verse that when you were reading about this, what does it say, that the wolf shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard with the young goat? I'm thinking, wait a second, that doesn't happen, because if you put those two in the same room together, somebody's going to get eaten by the other, right? And so what this is, it's a picture here of like, is there a place where animals can live without, like, is there a place where there is no predators? That's Eden. It's a picture of Eden. And then he flips the script in this prophecy of Isaiah. He flips the script and he basically says at some point that the entire earth will be Eden. Which, think about what the original call was in Genesis chapter 1 and 2. He said, "Be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth, and subdue it, have dominion over it." So the original job of Adam and Eve was to actually, hey, what I want you to do is I want you to take the Garden of Eden and I want you to make it the whole earth. So that's the end time, like a real eschatological vision that the Scripture teaches is this: that one day the entire cosmos, all of it, will be the Garden of Eden. It will all be his temple. Everything will be his temple, and it will continue to expand throughout eternity as the cosmos itself expands. And I mean, that's the picture. So that's why we're always talking on this podcast about the kingdom being here and now, and about us being the temple or living stones built upon the cornerstone. That's why it matters, because your vocation of what you're called to now is what you'll be doing into eternity.
I love it. And that, by the way, I was doing some studying ahead on the 7th. You know, John has 7 signs that he basically does with this. And that last one, it is finished, goes along with that Genesis 1 and 2 and John 1. It's some exciting stuff. We still got some great stuff to go. So I'm getting pumped up just thinking about it. We're out of time yet again. We started out with size teeth, and we wound up back in John 18. So we'll catch it up. We'll pick it up here next time on Unashamed.
Thanks for listening to the Unashamed podcast. Help us out by leaving a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. And don't miss an episode by subscribing on YouTube. And be sure to click the little bell and choose all notifications to watch every episode.